Good morning. It's Thursday, March 18th, and our meditation from our Living Well Through Lent booklet this morning is called Letting Go and Letting God by Robin Brent. She begins with a quote from Meister Eckhart. "Go out of yourself and let God be God in you." Robin writes, "Last Sunday, Heidi Kim explored the relentless tyranny of perfectionism and the harm it has done, individually and corporately. She shared that spending far too much time regretting what she hasn't done got in the way of her doing what she could. She ended by asking, how might we let go of perfect to embrace what is well and true? Robin goes on to say, I keenly relate to Heidi's description of perfectionism as a relentless tyranny. I would add to that the tyranny of busyness in order to mask my fears about how well I am doing in life. It seems like no matter how hard I work on a project, problem, or relationship, or worry about the situation while procrastinating, I often second-guess myself and the sufficiency of my efforts. This has softened over the years as I have patiently addressed this painful tendency. And now, instead of an underlying driving cadence of next and next and next, I more often experience a sense of ease and openness. To move from relentless tyranny to freedom in a place of spaciousness in which we shift from here I am God to here we are. The season of Lent offers us an opportunity to reflect on essential questions. We may want to consider how to let go of perfectionism in order to be more available to all that God desires to offer through us. To ask, what do we need to let go of in order to more freely enter God's prayer for us? What do we need to let go of in order to be freer, to love others in God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our strength, and with all our mind? Making it personal. Can you think of a recent situation that has been impaired by the relentless tyranny of perfectionism? What questions would you like to ask God right now? Do you have a trusted friend or a small group where you can share your journey and what you might want to let go of during this season of Lent? The theme this week, which we began with Heidi Kim's reflection on Sunday, has been about the tyranny of perfectionism. It was Voltaire who is credited with first saying, "The perfect is the enemy of good." But that thought about the tyranny of perfectionism goes all the way back to the ancient philosophers. Aristotle talked about the golden mean, and that is the middle ground between two excesses, the excess of the two extremes, the extreme of excess, trying to do everything or trying to do everything perfectly, and the other extreme of not doing anything at all, the extreme of deficiency. Well, I can't do it perfectly, so I won't do it at all. There has to be some middle ground. Where this most often came up, in my experience, when I was in active ministry before my retirement, was doing spiritual counseling for people, especially around the subject of prayer. People would come to me having difficulty with their prayer life because they wanted to pray perfectly. They came to me because they thought that I might be able to offer them some solution to that, some habit, some trick, some way of doing things that would enable them to pray in a better way, in a better way, in a perfect way. And my advice was always the same. Just pray. You might not be able to do it perfectly or as well as you would like to, but just pray. That's the important thing. This coming Sunday, we will welcome and admit some new members in the order of the Daughters of the King. This very special group in our parish is very faithful in their prayers. They really support all of us in their daily prayers. And they're able to do that because they recognize this middle ground between the two extremes, between having to do it perfectly or not doing it at all. A part of the motto of the Daughters of the King says, "I cannot do everything, but I can do something." That's a motto that we all might keep in mind this Lent and throughout the rest of the year, especially when it comes to our prayer life. We cannot do everything, but we can do something. So just start and pray. Remember that you are loved.